I talked about this at length, why I said I don't think women should be in the military, especially in combat positions. I mean, if they want to be nurses and medics, that's fine. But in infantry, I am against women being in infantry. And the reason why is because I know that, and I have a buddy that's a Navy SEAL, and we talked about this extensively. When women are in combat, guys are going to do stupid things to protect a woman that might compromise the entire unit because men have an innate need to protect and provide for women. So guys know in the military, like, dude, she's not as strong as me. She might have an AR or whatever, but she ain't going to be able to go hand in hand with a guy. She ain't going to be able to fight and defend herself at the same level. So guys are going to have a little bit more of a protector instinct and put themselves in compromising positions. Also, if a woman is caught as a prisoner of war, you already know they're going to do terrible things to her.
Yep.
And here's the other thing too. When they have POWs, especially when you're like, fighting against like, I'll say it, Arab countries, where I'm my part of the world, right? They're gonna do terrible things to that woman and put it on video. And what that is that's them basically saying, look at the United States, look at how weak you guys are. And they're gonna make that woman look terrible. So what else was gonna happen? Well, now the United States is gonna be incentivized to send in Navy SEALs, ops, special ops, whatever it may be. They're gonna put a lot of resources into rescuing that woman. Whereas if it was just a man, whatever, he dies, spent no commodity.
That's what he signed up for.
And they signed up for it. But with a woman, now, not only does she compromise the unit, but also if she's captured, there's more at stake because the political ramifications of her getting violated on camera can have serious, political ramifications, right? That might hurt the president sitting in. So there's a lot of other consequences that you might not see. Stock markets change, presidential campaigns change. The person in the office is put under immense pressure. So why would you want a woman in that situation where you could put a man? Because men have been, since the beginning of time, have been expendable commodities. There's a reason why they say women and children off the boat first and not men. So I think not only are women not capable of being in combat and they're not strong enough, regardless, they can't fight a man, they're also a fucking liability, man.
But listen to what you said.
Hold on.
Okay.
Share the point real quick.
So the points that you're sharing right now are just further explaining why women were oppressed so much in the beginning, because you're saying that all of the reasons why they shouldn't be put in these positions are for their protection, when really a lot of the things that are being spoken about on this podcast that I'd love to be on are generalizations. Sometimes there are women who feel like they are warrior archetypes and they want to be placed in those type of arenas. And so they should be allowed to do so. Other women, yes, other women are delicate and they would be sexualized or harassed or whatever. And yes, men have natural tendencies to want to protect them. But at the end of the day, that shouldn't be a reason why you say
I respectfully disagree.
They shouldn't do this and that.
I'll tell you why you're wrong. The reason why you're wrong is because we have a male standard and we have a female standard. The female standard is significantly less. If women could pass the male standards, cool, join the military. If you can pass all the same standards that the men do, join the military. But women can't. Maybe 1 out of 100, 2 out of 100. The exception doesn't make the rule. Most women are not physically adequate and capable of combat, period.
The movie 3.
And it's a biological fact. That's why we have to put 2 different standards, which in itself inherently makes it unequal, which is what women want. You want equality? Yeah. Then there's one standard.
Go ahead, Tom.
The movie 300 was a perfect example of this. The hunchback said, I want to fight with you. And he said, Leonidas said, lift up your sword. I mean your shield. And he couldn't. And he said, a phalanx works like this. Every man has to be there to protect the other. If there's a weak link in the phalanx, the whole thing goes down. So he was a man just like them, but they said he didn't meet the standard. And they do it all the time to us as men. We get cut from the basketball team because we're not good enough. We don't go around complaining.
Yep.
But women will say, well, it's not fair. That's why I was saying earlier, y'all speak from emotions. Men speak from either you're good enough to do it or you're not. Women talk to us like they understand that when they're talking to men. They will tell a man, look, I'm not interested in you. I'm interested in him. He has what I want. You don't. You lose. And we have to accept it.
Yep.
But when men decide they want the same standard, women say, that's not fair. That's sexist. You're colorist. You're racist. You hate yourself. They use emotional arguments with no logic involved. You just said if a woman wants to do it, she should be able to do it. Fuck your wants. Can you do it? Your wants should not have, I want to be in the NBA. Should I let me just go out there and play because I want it?
Well, logically, it wouldn't only be based on the want. It would be the want and the ability.
But the ability is not there.
And an overarching theme that because she's a woman, she cannot.
Because if If the rate, like right now, again, y'all are watching a man who's dressed as a woman taking suppression hormone blockers, and he's destroying the women in just swimming. If y'all believe what you're saying, then why not let men play in the WNBA? There would be no WNBA. It would just be the NBA, and everybody who's good enough would play. Yet there's not one woman good enough to play in the NBA. Not one. Out of all the women, and there are more women in the United States than men. So you mean to tell me there's not one woman, but you still want to tell me about it's wrong to generalize? Well, how about this? Get one woman that can play in the league.
So we can't train hard enough.
Who's stopping women from
to-
training right now?
No, but I'm saying, like, you're
Not what you're
counting.
saying. Let's talk about what actually has happened through the history of Earth.
Okay.
Is there one woman played in the NBA?
No.
One woman played in the NFL?
No.
One woman played in Major League Baseball?
No.
So
Is there
why
one
not?
guy working at Hooters?
You're keeping him from doing it. He can do it.
Right.
That makes no sense.
That's
Y'all, hold on a second.
Yeah,
For a woman to
kinda
work at Hooters, you could be
prefer.
dumb as a box of rocks. All you got to do is be willing to wear skimpy outfits.
That's true.
My
That's
God.
true.
That was a terrible
Yeah,
argument.
no, no,
Again, that's why I said
Yeah.
it's hard to have a woman will make an
Ladies.
emotional argument.
No.
And the man is the manager.
Because
Exactly.
That's the man. He's back.
Ladies, I mean, it's as simple as this.
And the cook. And
All we're saying is that there are no laws or rules in place keeping women from playing
Thank
in
you.
the NBA. However, there are rules in place that don't allow men to play in the WNBA.
Thank you.
And that is because it's a biological fact that men are physically superior to women. As much as you guys want to get mad at me and cry, it's fucked up.
no,
Whatever, you guys are not capable of competing, period. So when we're talking about combat, you might say, well, a woman might be warrior-esque, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Because if I got to serve in the military, I need to know the guy next to me can drag me to safety if I get hit.
Mhm.
I need to know the guy next to me can fight a guy off while I'm trying to snipe. I need to know the person next to me is capable. And unfortunately, because we live in this crazy pussified world where we want to make everyone equal and feel happy and include them, we're going to make our military weaker for what? Feelings. Equality. That's stupid. Because
Mhm.
that's a bit, luckily we have the technology and everything else to, to substantiate, the strength of our military, even though we have women in the military. But I believe when it comes to infantry and combat positions, I'm not saying women can't be in the military. I'm saying combat positions like infantry, where you're face to face with these guys sometimes, fighting them. Women have no place in that. You cannot compete. And if anything, you are a liability as a woman on the battlefield.
Look at China, bro. They don't bringing on women. in
And
the
that's not
military.
to attack any female service members. Thank
Mhm.
you for your service. But when it comes to infantry, we cannot sit here and lie to each other and say a woman is capable of fighting in infantry like a man is. No,
Look on-
she's a liability. Go ahead, Tom.
Look online. Happened in the UK. One of the funniest videos. There's two of them. One happened in New York too, but the one in the UK is funny because it's three women cops who were trying to arrest the. You saw it. They were trying to arrest this man, and they don't carry guns like that in the UK.
Yeah.
So they had to manhandle this man. He whooped all three of them hoes' ass. They just kept coming. He was just whooping their ass. In New York, there was a guy trying to arrest this guy, the homeless, and he was holding him down, but his feet were still flailing. So the woman tries to hold his feet. He continually kicks this woman off. She's falling back. She's falling back to one point where she falls on the subway tracks. That's the difference. That's why when you saw those women, the women cops, guess who are some of the biggest ones to shoot somebody first? Those white women, because what else can they do?
Yeah.
They shot that black dude who was walking with his hands up. Not one male cop shot him. It was only the female cop who shot him. The other one, the one in Dallas, who came in the wrong apartment.
I remember that. That was like 2-3
Her
years ago.
first thoughts was, if I do some hand-to-hand combat, I'm losing.
Facts.
So I must shoot him first. As a matter of fact, ladies, if y'all got a domestic violence situation and you're dating me and I'm whooping your ass.
Hypothetically, of course.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Welcome to Fresh and Fit, motherfuckers.
Let's go.
But no, so I'm whooping your ass,
It's a
and
joke,
you
ladies.
and
It's
you
a joke.
called the police, and they send two women to get me off you. Wouldn't you want them to send some man to get
I'd
me
be
off you?
pissed as
Seriously.
hell. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm gonna look at them like, really?
Thank you.
what you
They
find?
sent a woman the same size as you, talking about, so what's going on here?
I'd be like, nah. Go get your mans.
They sent you
Get off
another
him,
meeting.
Right, if
over,
it's
sir.
me, it probably turned into a threesome. Like that.
Ladies, I'll tell you this. I got a question for all ladies. All of you guys are captains, the president of a country. All right, you got one battle. But you have two choices. You're either going to send in 20,000 men or 20,000 women to fight for the safety and liberty of your country. They're both equally trained, went through the same exact training. Who are you picking, the 20,000 men or the 20,000 women?
This is the point.
Oh.
If we're going to talk about gender, we're going to play to our strengths. If you're talking about like strategies,
Can you please
war
answer the question?
strategies, I would send this. Okay, I would send the women to infiltrate whatever the opposing team is, but not with strength. Probably like with
Strategies?
like
To distract them
strategies,
with
like
activity.
distractions.
Oh, you send them to whore themselves.
You know, different type of warfare. I would send the men to go beat up people because obviously that's like you're saying, that's what you guys are good for.
You know what's going to get infiltrated? They're going to take the women and infiltrate them. That's what
That's what I was about to say. Think about it, ma'am.
No,
Let me explain something to you. This is really simple. If that country is ready to fight you, one of the things that women are in countries when they fight, they're called spoils of war.
Thank you. They take the women.
They take the women. So if you sent your women there first,
Thank you.
they're just going to be captive. Now they're going to be waiting on you to come try to save them. Now your strategy is going to be different, and you're going to have those men acting out of character because now their women are captured.
Not only that, you just proved why women shouldn't be in leadership positions.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on. Continuing on. All right. Who are you sending, the men or the women?
Men.
Okay.
The men.
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 Now, let's reverse it.
Mhm.
If I was going to send my child to a daycare, shout out to Andrew Tate, would you prefer to send him to an all-woman daycare or an all-men daycare?
She's not going to like my answer. Because it's going to be men. Because think about it this way:
Oh, yeah.
I've had too many daycare. Number one, statistics show, even though it's fewer, men do a better job of raising children by themselves than women do. Number two,
That's a fact.
men are less violent towards children than women are. Women are more abusive to their children mentally, emotionally, and physically. Therefore, the last
What
part,
kind of women? And also, no.
ones with vaginas. Sorry.
What race of women?
No.
Because I feel like
Merch.
There you go with I feel.
I feel like
We'll talk about stats, and I brought up stats.
Yep.
The person responded to my stats with I feel.
right, because I don't have a factual anything to fall
That's
back
why
on.
men
the
stop
point
having the
that women think with
conversation.
emotions
That's why
and not
men
facts.
don't jump in a conversation in which a man stated facts unless they could argue those facts.
I
They
get
wouldn't
what you're
say
saying.
I feel, because your feelings have nothing to do with facts. As a matter of fact, the reason why most of us are having fucked up relationships, single, or doing the most fucked up shit online, all crazy shit, and been in 9,000 different relationships, because we felt that nigga we fucked that night was the best nigga, and he ended up wasn't. We felt like I was gonna be with this nigga for the rest of his life, and he wasn't. We felt like this nigga was gonna take care of his kids, and he didn't. So let's not talk about how we feel, because we got a long laundry list of our feelings being fucking wrong.
Damn.
Shit.
I'll say this real
Okay,
quick.
so-
Facts right there. I like that
Can
right there, man.
I wasn't even
Where'd
done
you
with
go?
my thought.
Because I want to give her a bone, right? So what I'm saying by that is, if
You ain't
I
the only
had
one.
kids, right? if I had kids and I had a choice between an all guy daycare or an all female daycare, I would probably want to send my kid to an all female daycare, just because of the what's the
Nurturing.
capability.
nurturing, but there's another thing too, because there's a stigma that guys could potentially be weird, even though men do beat women in a lot of the same things that women are supposed to be good at. But that's the point I'm trying to make, is that men and women are different, and we have different things that make us better than the other at certain things. That's not to say men are better than women, because that's what I think you're coming from. You're like, well, women can do it too. I'm not saying women can't do it. I'm just saying that men are better at doing it. Can I use a screwdriver as a hammer and knock that nail in? Absolutely. But a hammer is going to get the job done more efficiently, quicker, and with less headache. That's all I'm saying.
But you've fallen into the westernization of making men out to be predators. That's why women
That's the
can get
concept-
away
yeah,
with
that's
more.
about-
We
yeah.
immediately looked at these men as they'll do something wrong to the kids.
I was saying in general.
No, I know you're right. We
That's a
do.
Western concept,
We
though.
think,
You're right.
but think about it.
You're right.
If a couple dudes say, "Hey, I'll stay at your house while you out going for the weekend, keep your wife safe," you're gonna be like, "Hell no!" But if a couple chicks be like, "Oh, we'll stay here to make sure she's fine," you don't even think they up in there just muff diving all weekend, just a licking each other. You won't even think. You won't even look at it that way.
And Tommy, you're right. You want to know why? Because only in the United States or Western countries in general have this strange thing where they think all men, when they deal with
right.
young children, have this, like, I'm just going to say the P word because we're on YouTube, have this P tendency. You know what I'm saying? You go to Japan, you go to other countries where crime rates are low. It's like, it's nothing for them to see a lot of male teachers, male daycare,
There are few
teachers,
male
whatever,
teachers
maybe.
sleeping with students today
Yeah.
than female teachers sleeping with students.
That's true.
Yet the problem is we won't bring out that number one.
Of course not.
But number two, we think that it's a cool thing that the boy he got to sleep with. I told a story about being molested as a 10-year-old on my show.
Mhm.
People said, you got lucky and he must be gay if he didn't like it. I was 10 years old.
They told you that.
Yes.
Holy shit.
That's what they were coming on the internet. Look, you tell he gay. He didn't like it. I was 10. Why would you think that was okay? But nobody would ever say, if a girl said,
Yeah.
when I was 10, I was raped by my male babysitter, nobody was going to say, was he fine?
Yeah, they ain't gonna say that. No, hell no. And that's the difference. That's the difference. The difference in how
And
the
I
genders
apologize. I
operate.
said the word.
Nah, you good. You good. We off Twitch now.
I just
but,
thought about it. I'm not going to do it again.
But does that make sense that like just the genders are better at certain things than the others?
I just feel like, how long are we gonna keep focusing on like this is better, and that's you're basically just mansplaining every single thing. Like, when are we gonna focus on how to like use the strengths to our advantages?
We are.
I mean, okay, are men on a balance of probability stronger than women physically?
Yes,
Okay.
you can see that from a mile away. Now
Okay.
what?
So then, what's the argument?
So what's the argument? If I'm going to put the most capable individual in the combat position where it's life or death and we're protecting the country, what is so mansplaining about that? It's a biological fact.
Exactly. So after you say the biological fact, you're going to put the men on the field. And then what place will the women have? Since you don't want them on the field, what will they do? Maybe help you come up with a war strategy. Since they think differently, they can probably get to the minds of the opposing team, like appealing to their ethos, since we're so emotional. What about that?
There is no emotion in war. You run up on and trying to kill each
No,
other.
that's not. There's so many, different elements to war. What about, what's it called? Like
Have you been to
guerrilla
war?
warfare, where they would like disguise
Have you
themselves
been
as
to
like
war?
nature or whatever. I have family members that were
No,
in the
have
Marines
you
and
been
all
to
type
war?
of stuff like that. We're not gonna do fallacy because that doesn't make any sense. Obviously, I haven't been to war. Do I look like I fight?
Okay. So we're just saying he's been in basically special forces, right? He's probably seen more than you.
Well,
He's
I've been
a
in
little
special
older.
forces. I used to work in law enforcement.
Law enforcement.
But yeah.
So we're just saying, as a judgment call, he can see behind the scenes. Okay, you know what? Yes, women have a role to play, but that would not be their best role. That's what I'm
I
saying.
know the inherent danger that men are capable of, and I know a woman cannot stop it. That's why, because I know what a man is
Maybe
capable
not
of.
physically, but mentally, probably.
What are you gonna think when he's gonna punch you in the face?
No,
Like-
I mean, I know what you mean when
Like,
you say that there's different
Mr.
elements to
Mysterio,
war.
Mr.
Like,
Mysterio.
before we send our men, there's discussions amongst nations that pop off.
Yeah,
Like, I
all
get
of the
it.
war isn't fought on the battlefield. Like, obviously the frontline men are doing something that the most powerful men aren't doing. You don't want the most powerful person to die. Like,
Ladies,
Well, can I?
in
Just
leadership
don't cap
positions,
us.
you look at any strong nation, any strong country,
Mhm.
men have always been in the leadership roles.
Well,
Yeah, it's always been a man's world. We're just living in it. Have we given the opportunity to like maybe possibly do something?
If somebody's got to
differently?
give you the opportunity, that's the problem. Because if
Bam.
you think about it, the United States was formed not because somebody gave them the opportunity, because they took it.
Right. And that's what
War
we're
and
doing with
countries are
feminism.
formed by taking it. So until women stand up and fight men, stop talking about it. If you think that they're oppressing you, fight them.
We are. And
No, not with your mouth, because we allow you to
Yeah,
do that. Fight
fight
them physically, because we can't fight other countries with our mouth.
women.
all
have
right,
didn't fight
girls.
Vietnam
It's a
with
no
your mouth.
toto for nobody. Everybody put the kitties away.
You know what I'm saying? Like, fight them. Fight
Fight 'em.
men.
Yeah.
If
Put
you're
the
not willing
kiddies
to
away.
fight them, then if that's the case,
They
then the
can fuck
only thing that's
themselves.
stopping the men from taking it from you is other men.
Hold on, real
The
quick.
only thing stopping them from taking
What
is
are
other
your thoughts on
men.
this? 'Cause you've been quiet most of the show.
Oh my god. I just
She in her own world.
Oh my God, just take me home.
no, I just feel like
Lurch.
let's just like have men fight that shit because I'm just not trying to do that. I don't want to do that, and I don't think a lot of women want to.
Well, but what you're saying is the problem that we're dealing with in the black community, which is why we're on the bottom. Our women have the most mouth and the less ability to do anything to affect what they're saying. They love to tell you a lot of things, but they can't do anything about it. When they get mad at us on YouTube or Twitter or whatever, they as tough as they are, who they have to run to get us flagged off? The white man, the same white man they say that they tired of. So if you really are so strong, why is it you got to go to get somebody else to fight your battle? You fight it yourself. So until women start fighting their own battles, maybe they should understand exactly what you said. My mother is quick to say, I don't want to go downstairs if somebody's breaking in the house or I hear something fall. I want a man to go do that. That's his job. I don't want to haul bricks on my back. I bought a truck for that. There's a reason why you should make things easier on you. But it seems like black women love to try and make stuff the hardest they possibly can. I don't need no man. I can raise these kids by myself. Okay, so you want to put yourself behind the 8 ball. You don't want to make it easier for you and your
Maybe
children.
sometimes that argument it comes out of ego, because it's like, damn nigga, like we done lay down and we'd agree to bring forth this life and you done abandon.
Most
I'ma
of the time,
show
we don't
you-
agree. Most black babies are oops babies. They
Are
didn't
oop-
sit down and have a discussion of, oh, we're going to have children. It was, guess what? I missed my period.
Mhm.
That's what it is. Let's not lie. 76% of black children are born out of wedlock. Because if you want to believe that, ladies, listen to me. If you want to believe a man will take care of your kid, make sure you take care of you first.
Mm.
Because if I ain't taking care of you, chances are I ain't going to want to take care of what came from
Facts.
Bam. I mean, and like I said, I don't know why it's so tough for the ladies to grasp. I mean, well, not all of them. You just want to argue. I get it.
No, it's not
But-
tough to grasp. I just feel like what's
Merch.
wrong with a well-rounded argument? Why does it always just seem so like I just feel attacked?
Well, wouldn't a well-rounded argument though be one based on facts? If you can, because like if you think about it, a military strategist typically is someone, because yes, they're not out there fighting, but a military strategist is somebody who did what? Fought. When you have a basketball coach, the majority of the basketball coaches on the sideline, guess what they used to do?
They played.
Yes, so they understand the strategy behind that thing. So if you're going to have some woman who's never been on the field come and try to strategize that of which she doesn't know, it's now all theory. And theory is another form of feelings.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. The problem is that you're attaching your personal feelings to your arguments. And the problem is that we're not attacking you. We're attacking your arguments because, to be with all due respect, they're stupid. But that's not to say that you're stupid. It's just that it comes from your arguments don't have any type of concrete fact. You're basing it off of how you feel versus we're telling you biological fact. Women are not physically capable of fighting men on the battlefield long term. And if anything, it weakens the men. And if you don't believe me, the fact that we have two different military standards for men versus for women inherently proves what I'm saying. Women and men are not equal. We're not built the same. We're different. That's not to say men are better than women. I'm here to say men are better at certain things like physicality and combat. It's a biological fact. It's been that way since the beginning of time.
Firemen, cops, it's a different standard. But guess what? When it comes to chefs, because women are told that they're the best cooks, even though that shows that men are, men don't have to have a lower standard to become a chef so he can fit a woman's standard. They don't do that. Men don't have a lower standard to become a clothing designer than a woman. He has to hold the same standards as she does to do that job. So if you really wanted to see who's the best in society to do something, if you want a society to run the most efficient, imagine if you have a car. You're going to put the best oil in your type of car, the best tires on your type of car, the best everything that makes your car run optimal, even food. What's going to make him be in shape is different than what's going to make me, because my body processes food different than his. So therefore, if we wanted a society to work at its optimal, to this optimal capacity, we would want to put everybody in the best position possible, not worry about how someone feels.
Bam.
Because anybody that's been in the military or in any fighting situation will tell you how you feel can get us both killed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Damn.
And this again is why men are better in the military. Like, we don't care about our feelings. Like, you're right now, you're in your feelings. I get it. It's fine. Like, but this is the difference between men and women. We can understand and accept uncomfortable and truths that piss us off, because men get rejected all the time. The world is a lot colder to men than it is to women. So that forces men to be logically sound. It does not necessarily force women to be logically sound.
Women think being submissive and following is a bad thing.
Not
They-
at all.
Well,
No.
some of them today think that these words are bad words. They think that these words are bad. But guess who submits more than anybody? Men.
Man.
Men submit to their wife because they could whoop their ass if they wanted to get them to do whatever they want to. But they lower themselves and they say, I'm not going to handle this thing with what I'm better at, which is physicality. Because women will get into an argument with a man and they will go to their best feature, which is they can manipulate a man. So they're going to use their strength, and you're going to hold yours back. Number one. Number two, you have a military general. That military general will lead 20,000 men. Guess what those 20,000 men are? Followers. That one man is telling them to run into battle. They have all these people who are telling them what to do, and men will. A basketball player, Kevin Durant, is listening to a coach who Kevin makes $30 million a year. His coach makes 10. He's listening to that man who makes less than him and was not as great a basketball player as him. And him and the rest of those 13 to 15 guys go out and listen to his orders. We follow it because we believe that he's been put in that position for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And we do it every day. So whenever women try to argue against this and talk about misogyny and stuff like that, understand that nobody follows orders more than men.
Yeah. And you use a lot of, no offense, you use a lot of like indoctrination words like mansplaining and all this other stuff. Like that's all a bunch of BS that we use in the West whenever logic trumps feelings. Mansplaining. It's not mansplaining. It's the truth. It's a fact. You cannot argue that. Women are not physically capable of competing with men physically. And if they were, we wouldn't have an MLS women and an MLS men,
Right,
and
but
an WNBA and an NBA.
I don't
etc.
think if women had the chance to compete with men, we'll use our strength. I think we're smart enough to use whatever other gifts.
So
we
what would you
have.
use in an NBA game?
Please tell us.
Well, not NBA specifically, but if you
What would
and
you use in
I,
the MMA? In any of these categories where we're
talking
talking
about
about,
physicality
what would you use
the
to
argument
overcome
is
it?
simply put, stop, you guys keep switching the argument. Ladies, all we're saying is that women are not physically capable of competing with men, period. That's what we're saying. And then
But I'm willing to
But
listen
if
to you
everyone on
tell
the
us how you can
panel
overcome.
agreed with that, and we say yes, men are stronger.
Well, you didn't really agree with it, but
I did actually.
yeah,
you
men
just
are
didn't want to hear
stronger.
that.
Genetics.
Well,
but we're
you
strong
were
too.
saying,
That
but what
doesn't
about
take
when
away
we
from
want
our
to do that
strength.
thing which takes physical strength? Well, if you beat a man out, men don't care if a woman's good enough to do that job, we'll let her. If a woman was in the NBA right now, just dunking and shooting like Steph
she'd
Curry,
get praised.
no
She'd
one
be on
would
the
say
bench.
she can't play.
Yep.
When I was young, and most men who played street ball, they know, there was always some girl that probably was able to hang out with us up until 10 or 11th grade. She was pretty damn good.
Yep.
And they couldn't wait to put her on the court to show the dudes up.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that girl busting your ass, nigga. Now, when I was in college, I dated a girl who played for the WNBA team. It's called the Cleveland Rockers. She's 6'5".
Whoa.
I'm only 5'11".
Wow. Okay.
I just like climbing trees. I don't know what it is. We played basketball once. She was playing professional ball. I only played college. I whooped her ass. 12-3. Beat her bad. If it was a 6'5" dude, though, he'd have just kept backing me down. But she kept trying to back me down, and I put my hand right here on her mid-back, and she could not move.
Yep.
So maybe
Physicality.
that's why women aren't in the NBA because of the physicality. So yes, you guys are right. Physically, we're not as strong. And so that's why they have a whole team made for women so that they can do what they're good at together.
And they're not even good at that because women don't even go watch it. They're not good at it.
And you see?
No, seriously,
know that.
they're not good at it.
Yeah, who wants
Because
to
when's the
watch
last time you
bloody
saw?
women?
Can't wait.
Now, do me a favor. Name 5 WNBA players. Go.
Stop. What's that fight?
She
chick?
said
What's
stop.
that fight? I only know one because she's fine. Gotcha. And I
See?
still don't know her name.
yo, the strongest feminists don't even go to WNBA games.
But if I ask you to name
Yeah,
5
absolutely.
NBA players, you know them.
I know that's
I
right.
don't know them either.
You know 5 niggas that play ball.
LeBron.
Everybody
Steph
knows
Curry.
LeBron. Everybody knows
Okay,
Steph
LaMelo.
Curry.
Jordan.
Like, there's people you already know. Like you,
Okay.
and I know y'all know them because as soon as it's All-Star Weekend somewhere, y'all showing up. Y'all know what these men are.
Yo,
I think about it. There's never been a man that say, I can't wait to go to the WNBA All-Star Weekend and see if I can pick up one of them chicks.
Nope.